Could the architect of the 9/11 attacks and more than 160 other terror detainees be moved from Guantanamo Bay in Cuba to prisons right here in the United States? There is a new push by an influential senator to shut down the facility at Gitmo. Brian Todd has been looking into this for us. So what are you seeing, Brian?
Well, Wolf, a new report out is bolstering her argument, and Senator Dianne Feinstein, the powerful head of the Intelligence Committee, is pushing again for detainees to be transferred from Guantanamo. Republicans say no way, and they point to the case of the highest value detainee of them all. He sits in a cell some 500 miles from American shores. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, accused mastermind of 9/11, could be a step closer to residing on the very soil he allegedly conspired to attack. A newly released GAO report says military and federal civilian prisons inside the U.S. would need several operational changes if detainees like Mohammed were to be transferred from Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, into the U.S. But to Senator Dianne Feinstein, chair of the Select Intelligence Committee, the report shows that if the political will exists, we could finally close Guantanamo without imperiling our national security. The report says there are about 2,000 state, federal, and local prisons that could be suitable for those dangerous detainees, and 6 military facilities.
Certainly the most likely place that the prisoners would be sent would be the maximum security military prison at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. That is set up for maximum security. There have never been any escapes. That's the most likely.
Some civilian supermax facilities inside the U.S. already house well-known convicted terrorists, like Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's nephew, 1993 World Trade Center bomber Ramzi Youssef. But Senator Feinstein is running into staunch opposition here on Capitol Hill, where Republicans passed a law banning the transfer of detainees from Guantanamo onto U.S. soil. GOP Congressman Frank Wolf chairs a subcommittee dealing with funding for the Justice Department. What about someone like Khalid Sheikh Mohammed at a supermax, locked away, isolated, very secure?
But you would then give him all the constitutional advantages of being an American citizen. You would then have security provisions to bring him here. Then you give him years and years of a show trial whereby he could do things. And the 9/11 families who think this is a very, very bad idea.
Among the changes at U.S. facilities that would need to take place to bring Mohammed and other detainees to America, according to the GAO, the risk to the American public would have to be minimized. Some potential military jails are on bases close to the public. Identities of the personnel working with the prisoners would need to be kept secret. Military prisoners by law would have to be kept separate from foreign nationals.
It seems to me that the likely result is status quo. These people are here in Guantanamo now, and they'll be here in Guantanamo 4 years later.
And our analyst Jeffrey Toobin says the Obama team has been burned over Gitmo repeatedly after promising early on in the administration to close it down, and he doesn't think the president is going to spend any more political capital on this issue. Wolf.
The White House spoke out about this even today, right?
They did do that. They released a statement today saying that they object to the renewal of the ban on moving prisoners from Guantanamo. But if last year's any indication, it's not going to lead to a veto of the Republican legislation to block those moves. So the Obama administration not willing to go to the mat right now to try to get those prisoners moved.
And there's different rules when you're a detainee at Gitmo as opposed to if you were brought to Fort Leavenworth in the United States.
A lot of different rules on the transfer of them. They have to be kept separate from U.S. military prisoners. They have to make a lot of accommodations for these people. I don't think they're quite ready to do that yet. That GAO report pretty much states they're not ready to do it yet. Maybe they could be later on.
Yeah, that presidential promise 4 years ago during the campaign, he would shut down Gitmo during his first year in office. That didn't exactly
one to keep.
work out for him.